Let glory shine. From the ashes I rise. Every scar a story, every tear baptized. This is my freedom, this is my climb. Let glory shine, it's the power inside.
Hello, and welcome back to Let Glory Shine. I'm so glad that you're here. And tonight we are so honored to have this guest. I'm crazy excited. I got to meet her a few months ago on her live show, Nine Lives. And I can't wait for you to get to meet her as well. And I'll introduce her in just a second. But before that, I'm going to share with you some of her accolades. And I could literally talk about her accolades for the next 30 minutes, but we're going to jump into other things. So, a few of those accolades are Vitelle is an actress. She can be seen in movies such as Tyler Perry's I Can Do Bad All by Myself and Vampire Diaries. She's an author. She founded Us Three Productions and developed and starred in her own show, Nine Lives, that I had the honor of seeing when she came through in a nine-city tour earlier this spring in Raleigh. And I am so honored to have her on my show. Vitelle, welcome.
Hey, I'm so honored to be here. This is so exciting.
It feels full circle. I feel like in the spring we went out to lunch and we realized because the stars had a line for us, God had a line for us. And I feel like we went out to lunch and we were like, we're on the same.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, this is my sister, and you're adopted now, whether you like it or not. And yes, we are family from this point on.
Well, I want you to share with my audience just what your mission is. They've heard about my mission, and I call people that have survived the types of trauma that you and I have survived battle angels. And you are like a battle angel plus, 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 right? But through God's graciousness and mercy, like you have come through, you are healing, you are on this now amazing mission that I want you to just share with my audience.
Yes. So, like you said, we have been through some things. You can definitely relate. I could say all the same things about you, sis. This, I think we both have come to an understanding that everything that we've gone through is not for no reason. It's all for a purpose, and God has a plan in the midst of all of it. And so, to be able to use our experiences and our life journeys that in the case I can say of myself and yourself that would have normally taken some people out, that would have caused them to give up and throw in the towel, and here we are taking that and turn it into a mission and a purpose. So for myself, with Us Three Productions, all of my shows, books, everything that I produce through this production company is all based on my real life story, things that I have actually experienced myself. So I speak from experience through the arts. And surprisingly, so many people can relate to all of these different things that, when you're going through it, you think you're going through it alone. But then when you start to testify and you realize you got a whole bunch of hands up saying, me too, girl, like it's just so overwhelming to know that not only are you not alone in what you're going through, but so many other people can relate. And now, because of you speaking up, they're not alone. So that's what I do with Us Three Productions. I produce, like you said, I'm an author. So I have my book, I Am a Poetic Ensemble, which is the first of many to come. Actually, what God is doing right now behind the scenes, I'm probably going to have 3 books before December, 3 new books in addition to this one. So it's a lot going on back here. But the whole purpose is just to help people to heal, to survive, to overcome, to prosper and be victorious in spite of what they may have gone through or may be going through.
Absolutely. And that's where I found that our mission and visions were so deeply, deeply aligned because the idea of feeling lonely when you're going through your stuff or you're trying to step out of your stuff, we feel like nobody's going to understand us. Nobody's been through what I've been through. Nobody could possibly have hurt this badly or suffered this much loss or whatever, right? And what both of us have found, and which is so empowering, is that when we share our heart, our truth, our testimony, we actually give others permission to share
Mhm.
theirs as well. So it's way deeper than just me too, girl. Like, been there, done that, like
Yeah.
I feel you. We give them permission to say, oh, if she can heal, if she can overcome, if
Mhm.
she can turn it into a testimony, God can turn it into a testimony, then there's somewhere for me to go. They find purpose in that. They find encouragement, and they suddenly feel less lonely. And that's been my experience for and over every stage that I get on, every podcast that I get on.
Mhm.
Anytime that I have the opportunity to share my story, there's always those people that can come up and say, I heard this that
Yes.
deeply impacted me, or that changed my life. I can never look at things the same way.
Right.
So just so powerful. So tell my audience what Nine Lives is, because it is a phenomenal show. I know that you're done with the tour, this
Mhm.
first tour, but I know God's got more, because that was a phenomenal show.
Okay, so you are actually my first interview post tour. So this is exciting. You get some exclusive scoop, okay? So I have actually on, I can't really call it a hiatus. I've been resting as much as I can, but God has definitely been downloading and giving me some new things. So let's backtrack a little bit for those who don't know. The Nine Lives World Tour, I just completed a 9-city tour from January in 6 months. So from January to just this past month was the last show, probably like 2 weeks ago, actually. Time just flies for me. But it is a one-woman show called Nine Lives, and I play 9 different characters. They are all, it's based on my book that I just showed you guys, I Am. And it's telling the story of my life, and all of these different characters have different personalities, different parts of the story of my story that they tell, but it's all my life story. And so I've been on the road with this show in 9 different cities, from Houston, Orlando, North Carolina, Washington, D.C., like just all over the place, to places that I've never had, most of them I'd never actually been before. So you talk about a faith walk, you're just going where God tells you to go. And that's what this was. And so, exclusive part, drum roll, please. Okay. What's come of this now is that it's going to actually be a book. So, for those of you who missed it, this was not my intent at all. This is a little bit of a curveball that God threw at me, and has confirmed it multiple times over this past few weeks. But since the show, it's like, everyone obviously asked, how did it go? And I want to just tell it all, but there was so much to tell. Like, each different city that we went to was a different show. It was a different interaction. There was different people that we met along the way, that, like yourself, that God just brought along on this journey. And it's just like, I could literally write a book about all of this. And that's exactly what has happened in the last few days. Like, a whole book has downloaded into my brain, and I'm like, dang, I can't even type fast enough. Like, I need someone to type this up for me. So with the help of AI helping, and Siri and everyone else that's not human, that can stay up all night with me to get this finished, we are going to have a book probably by next month called Nine Lives, The Faith Walk. So yes, you get it exclusively right here.
Gracious. So I have to tell you, after I saw your show and I have your book and I read your poems, there's so much heart in that book. I thought, I was like, gotta write a book. There's gotta be a Nine Lives book. I just felt it in every fiber of my being. Talk about,
Confirmation.
girl, when we talk about that faith walk,
Mhm.
like I have never seen a faith walk so dedicated and to obedience, because you have faced so many obstacles on this tour. I've been watching you, and you've faced so many obstacles and you've overcome. And now it's the testimony, the faith walk, the book. Like,
Right.
my heart is bursting for you. I am
Oh my gosh.
so happy for you, Vitelle. That's amazing.
Yes, I mean, even the book, even in the book itself, it's such a faith walk, because I have to pull away from my need, after a show. It's almost like falling from cloud nine. It's like, oh my gosh, it's over. Like you're relieved and kind of glad, but then at the same time, it's like, what do I do now? Like you've had this family that you've traveled the world with that you've built this family along the way, and you've just gotten in the habit of this. And so now it's like you come down from the show, you have to kind of rebuild in a lot of ways because it takes a lot to put on a show like this financially, mentally, spiritually, everything. So I've had to like pull back and try to rebuild, but then also at the same time, it's like, the next plan originally was to finish part 2 of I Am, which is a first of a 4-part series, and then I was going to finish my book that's based on my show The Face of Homeless. So that was my plan, but as usual, I have my plans and then God is like, well, actually, here we go. And so the book, to do a book about this actual show experience, this tour experience, it's just like, dang, that means I have to pull back from what I normally would do, which is get my money back up and do, take care of me and home and step away from the public for a minute. And now it's like, no, actually, I got to finish a whole book, which does involve me stepping away for a minute, but also I have to get on interviews still and push the book, just like I pushed the tour. And I have to continue to walk by faith that the book is going to be funded from where, like, so when I say faith walk, I mean, literally walking upstairs that we cannot see. And that's what we did this whole entire tour. And that's what I'm having to do now with the book, not disregarding, but kind of putting my own personal life and whatever I may have going on and my kids and my everything, not on the back burner, but literally in God's hands and saying, okay, well, if you want me to do this, you got to take care of all of this because all of this is distracting me right now. And so
Ultimate surrender.
yeah, so even the book itself is a faith walk, and you're gonna read all about that in it.
Wow. I know about the download situation, when God had put it on my heart for years that I was going to write a book. And I was like, no, God, you got to bring a ghostwriter. You got to I don't write. What are you talking about, God? Like, that's not me. You got to bring somebody to write my book. I'm not writing it. And then God literally started downloading it. And I was like, oh, I'm actually going to have to type and I'm going to actually have to do this. Then it became exciting because I know that zoomies, I had the zoomies, the typewriter, like the computer zoomies. And then you go back and read it the next day and you're like, it's really good.
That's how you know God did it.
That's how you know God did it.
I did not do
And
this.
I remember the first time I went back and read and I was like, that's really good. Wow. And I heard God go, you're welcome. You are a ghostwriter. And I was like, I see you, God.
The Holy Ghost writer. Your ghostwriter right there.
So I love it. And I wrote mine in 23 days. So I know you can do it. If you're trying to get it out by next month, you'll have it out by next month, right? Like, that's how God does. Like,
yeah,
your heart, he's going to create the provisions in order for you to do it. He's going to give you the energy to do it. He's going to give you the fortitude to push through all the other things that you have to put on the back burner for a minute. Yes. It's going to come together. So that's super exciting. I'm so excited and proud of you.
Thank you so much. That was very encouraging just to hear, your testimony. And that's what it's all about. It's like the real life testimonies are what make us keep going. Like all of humanity, no matter what our background, race, religion, or anything. Like, and then I'm always, Bible referencing. I'm not one of those people who knows all the scriptures off the top of my head and every name of every person that went through everything, but I know the stories because I live them, and I'm always able to compare like, oh, this is like what Moses went through, or that one guy who had, the staff or whatever. And so like you look at all of the testimonies that like this is something that people have been doing since the beginning of time, is sharing their own testimony to help all of humanity, not just for themselves or their family or even their generation, but generations to come. Some of us are that big of a called world changer. And if you think about all the people who were called from the Bible days, none of them felt, I don't think there was a single story in the Bible, correct me if I'm wrong, all my Bible scholars out there, but where have I seen anything where God called somebody to do something and they were immediately like, oh yes, I'm qualified for that. You called the right person, God. Not one single time. Every single time it was like, me? Are you sure? Like, Lord, get somebody else to do it. Like everything that we do when we're called, that's the reason why we have these stories and these people, whether you believe every single detail of them or not. Let's just face it, it is encouragement and inspirational to know that you're not the only one who feels unqualified when God calls you. And in fact, it seems as though to me that he purposely calls the unqualified, the people who feel like they're not good enough, the people who, have a lot of sin or been going through some things or whatever other their background is. It's never like my resume says that I can do this. So, yes, we are not alone in that.
No, I always say that God calls the unqualified because we are qualified through him, right? That means that we need him.
Mhm.
Unqualified will certainly raise their hand and be like, I need help with this
Yeah,
because I don't know how to do this, right? Whereas
absolutely.
somebody with the resume, like you said, like it's like,
Yeah,
oh, I got, then why
right.
did
And then
you
how's
try?
God get the
Right?
credit? Exactly.
Yep. Calls the unqualified so he can qualify us through him and through what he's going to do in us and for us and through us.
Mhm.
When we talk about like generational, world changers, our own lives, right? You and I talked a lot about ending the generational curse of
Mhm.
our abuse, our trauma, the things that we've gone through in our lives. That was something that you and I shared very deeply. And we also shared legacy, right? For me, what we are doing is leaving a legacy for our family, our friends, our world that's going to make that impact with people from the Bible, right? One day somebody's going to hopefully know that we made a difference in the world here and for others that were struggling. So
Mhm.
can you expand on that and just talk about, what it is that you're really trying to do with this move?
Yeah, I mean, just hearing you talking about it, my mind just goes right back to the beginning. And one of the people I've related to mostly lately in the Bible has been Moses and, the trials and tribulations that he went through and all the things. Like, I believe he was the most, like, as far as stories in the Bible, the Bible tells most of his life, like from beginning to end. And so most people you see snippets of their life. And so to see all of Moses's life, I feel like that was significant and for a reason. But just I feel as though what we're creating right now in this generation, those who are answering this call, that you have, and I have both answered, we are becoming the Moseses of the future. So however long this planet lasts, we don't know. But for generations to come, people will look back, just like Rosa Parks and MLK were the Moseses and the Abrahams and the Isaiahs and all the people from the Bible, they were for that generation. And it continues to build upon that legacy, like you said. And so that word legacy just means so much. Like I don't feel like the dictionary can really define it as much as like just looking through history and all existence of time can define all of the people who left a legacy. So to make sure that, I encourage people to make sure that they're writing that book, whether they feel qualified or not. Like literally anybody can write a book nowadays. We have so much technology and so many things at our disposal to use these tools that we're given now, that we have so much more of an advantage than the people that, could you imagine like writing on a scroll with a like what were they using exactly, like from the beginning, and then to have to translate that, and all the people over time that have translated it and kept it going and put it on paper so that now we have books we can flip through and find the chapters and all the things. Like it took literally everyone, like every single person's part of that was so important to create and leave that legacy. And we may never know some of their names, but then others, the names live on forever. So, but no, none of them are any less important. It's just so important that we answer that call, that we become a part of that legacy building, that it just transcends all of time. Yeah, that's what it
And
means.
the generational curse ending, like
Yeah.
what is that?
That part.
No.
So for me and my family, and I guess anybody can say this, that there's probably a lot of them that I could list, but especially I'm thinking about the generational curse of poverty and lack and just experiences that I can speak for most women when I say a lot of us have experienced sexual trauma throughout our life at some point in time. And so just even that to that being the norm, not just in my family or in just in general in society, like we just look at that like that's something that just happens. And so all throughout time, people are taught you sweep that under the rug, you don't say anything about it, and all these things. And that's the reason why so many predators from all shapes and sizes and destinations were able to take advantage because they felt like they're taught to be silent, and so we can just continue to do what we do. So I think right now we're living in a time where more people are speaking out than ever before, and no one is remaining silent. And that means hopefully less crime and less situations like this that are happening because people are starting to realize I'm not going to get away with this. If I do this, I'm probably going to have a book written about me and be sitting behind bars. So, just that part of it in itself. So there's so many curses, not just from my own family, but everyone that's affected by my life and the generations that are coming up, that I'm focused on right now. There's so many. It's mindset is the biggest thing that comes to mind when it comes to breaking generational curses, because most of it pretty much everything I just described is all based on a mindset. And so if we're able to change that mindset and know what we're capable of and know how powerful we are and know how worthy we are and all of these things, then all of this poverty, this victimization, all of these things are broken because we're changing the mindset. So that's what I'm doing right now is I've had to work really hard to change my mindset, because this is a mindset that I've had for over 30 years. I'm not going to tell my exact age, but and so, I'm having to work extra hard to change my mindset to what I know. And now I'm teaching the kids coming up behind me, my nieces, my nephews, my children, all of them, that this is what your mindset should be. And if we can get it from the beginning, as close to the beginning as possible, then maybe we can continue it on. And then when you're my age, you won't have this hard of a problem. You're going to be so much more powerful, so much more capable. That curse is being broken right there. So it just
Yeah.
should get better from this point on.
Yeah. I say all the time to my nieces and nephews, like, if I at your age knew what I know now
Yeah.
about self, about my power, about my strength, about who God's created me to be,
Yes.
imagine like the possibilities that would have been available to me. And so
Mhm.
I want to empower them now in their teens, right, to understand who God has called them to be, who God is through them, right? And understanding their worth, understanding their power, understanding their resilience, their strength, their fortitude is already inside of them. And that's another thing that I find all the time when I get the opportunity to speak is that people don't understand you can reclaim
Mhm.
what is yours because it's inside of you. You may just have to dust it off. You may have to tap into it. You may have to reclaim it. You may have to, right? But it's already there. God put everything we ever need on the
Mhm.
inside of us. And it's our responsibility to claim it, to
Yeah.
live it, to be it, to become it, to
Yeah.
heal through it, right? All of those things. And
Mhm.
for me, that's the big change that happens when we're ending the generational curse.
Yes.
Like from my point of view, is like when we understand that,
Mhm.
we're ending it there, right? And when we teach that, when we help others do that, everything goes back to that. Everything goes back to who is God, who is God made you and created you to be, and now
Mm.
how do you give that back to the world?
That's right. Yes, absolutely. I love it.
Wow.
See, I told y'all we're on the same page. This is my
We
sister.
literally
Friend.
sisters from different misters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking about writing the book. So is there more Nine Live shows coming at some point?
That I do not know. Honestly, that's one of those things that I'm like, Lord, please don't call me to do that. Please don't. I'm act like I don't hear you. Like because that was exhausting. So we'll see. I've learned to definitely take it one step at a time. Like I've had moments where God has showed me like the bigger picture and all that's going to be. And as exciting as it is, it's also overwhelming because I am here on earth limited by time and resources and physical flesh. And so um I have to trust and know and have peace in knowing that, wow, all those things are amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing all of them. But then also living in the moment and not thinking too far ahead and all of those things, that's difficult for me to do. So because it gets exciting when he shows you little glimpses, you know. So yeah, I'm just taking it one step at a time. I'm gonna, like I said, I had the plan to finish those other books. So I'm going to finish this book first, and then I'm going to see if I can circle back and finish the other books, unless God tells me to do something different. We shall see. But yeah, I'm trying to get
Plans
better at
loose.
waiting
Keep
on the
your
call.
plans loose. Yes.
Yes, exactly. I used to be one of those like buy the book, like this is what my calendar says. If it's not in my calendar, it's not happening, and don't rearrange what's in my calendar, you know. But now I've definitely had to learn, like, you know what, I would like to do this. I have like a loose to-do list. But if I wake up and God says, actually, this is what you're doing today, then I have to be like, okay, here we go. You know?
What I know to be true, and I know that you will feel the same way, is that if God's called you to do something and you're seeing glimpses of it,
Mhm.
He'll create the means, the resources, and everything else to create,
Yeah.
right? The people. And that's the faith walk. That's the hard part. That's the part that says, well, God, I see it. I see it's beautiful. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Wait for it. But you got to do a few things before that, God, because I don't have the means to do it, or I don't have the resources to do it, or I don't know how to create that. When
Mhm.
we surrender that, right? When we surrender that and go, like, God, I see it and I'm all in,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
need you to like show up and show me and give me wisdom and understanding and direction, because I don't know how to make this happen. That's
Yeah.
the faith walk in the surrender.
Yeah, exactly. And like every time as you're saying it, I keep going back to Moses because I'm thinking about what it felt like to be walking up to a freaking King Pharaoh or whatever he was. And like, so I'm supposed to make him do something that he doesn't want to do. I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but all I got in my hand is the stick. And God's just like, well, throw it down. And you still don't know what's about to happen. But you're just like, okay, just throw it down. And then God just does what he does. And so I can imagine that Moses was just as surprised as everybody else. But at the same time, I'm gonna act like I'm not too surprised because I knew that God, you know, I'm the one telling people that I trust God. So I can't be looking like I'm surprised up in here. You know, I relate to that so much, even as you're saying that.
Vitelle, I am so proud of you. I am so proud to call you friend. I'm so proud to be on mission with you. I'm just like so excited about what the future has to hold. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but I have one last question. No, flies when you're having fun. I'm like,
I know, right?
I need more time. But I have one last question for you, and that question is, what does it mean for Vitelle to let her glory?
Ooh, let my glory shine. Wow. Um, how do I define that? I feel like I'm doing it. I feel like I define it every day that I'm living and that I say yes, even if reluctantly, to the call, that I keep showing up even when I don't feel like it. Um, you know, this is it's all for God's glory at the end of the day. So I just feel like I can't really take credit for anything that he gives me because honestly, I don't necessarily want to do it when he gives it to me. But once I do, then I'm just like, there's that glory and it's shining, and I can't take any credit for that. So, you know, me letting Vitel letting her glory shine is allowing God to use this flesh that he gave me to shine through. So that's what it is for me.
And beautiful. Amen. Thank you again for joining us for Let Glory Shine. We'll be back same time, same station next week, and we'll see you then. Let Glory Shine.
Let glory shine from the ashes I rise. Every scar a story, every tear baptized. This is my freedom, this is my climb. Let glory shine, it's the power inside. This is your prosperity era. It's time